first of all, my lord, let us not trivialize on this side, my lord. We are dealing with one incident, but your lordships are rightly looking at a larger picture. But we are dealing with, my lord, a young doctor, not only raped by a sexual pervert or perverts, but who was an animal-like instinct, who had an animal-like instinct, the way, my lord, the body was handled. Thereafter, my lord, I don't wish, my lord, to make this a political issue. The state of 3 hours of the patient parents waiting, my lord, is something we can experience if we put ourselves in that position. Now, my lord, so far as the safety is concerned, my lord, one thing I must bring to your lordship's notice. My lord, the doctors are genuinely, my lord, have a grievance. They are, my lord, they've lost one of their colleagues, my lord, globally. But, my lord, out of, my lord, all states, 23 states have legislations dealing with, my lord, what is called for, my lord, Kerala, my lord, so-and-so Medicare service persons and medical service institutions, prevention of violence and damage or loss to the property act. There are, my lord, I'll give, my lord, the list of acts. My lord, this also the National Task Force, my lord, can
the punishment which is provided under
it's a cognizable, my lord, and
3 years.
3 years.
Yes, my lord. It's cognizable, non-bailable, and punishment is 3 years. My lord, this is first. I'll, my lord, place it. The National Task Force, my lord, which our lordships contemplate, can, my lord, go into this, can even make suggestions, and it should be welcome, my lord. My lord, second thing, my lord, which is worrying us is this. My lord, even in a well-organized function, if we want the presence of 500 people in an auditorium, we all know we have to make efforts. 7,000 people at the middle of the night armed with lathis and hockeys, my lord, can never be without the knowledge, if not consent, of the police force. It's complete failure of law and order, my lord, in the entire state.
What time did the vandalization of the hospital take place?
Lord, midnight. It's at midnight, my lord.
I thought my learned friend, he doesn't want to politicize the matter, my lord. Why is
now why this is, my lord, important?
We should be called upon. We'll tell you what happened.
Mr. Solicitor, what we'll do is that we'll...
One more aspect. Lord, and my lord, again, my learned friend may feel that this is, my lord, but this is directly related to the issue in question. Lord, the West Bengal has an in-charge DIG. In-charge DIG, Director General of Police, who is already being charged and being considered by your lordships for having fabricated or otherwise dealt with the evidence in Sharda scam case. Lord, your lordship's
Calcutta Police doesn't come under DGP. Calcutta Police doesn't come under DGP. Why are you saying all this?
What this has to do
Director
Kolkata
General of Police is an in-charge DGP. Not let someone else be the
This is what is happening.
Let them choose. But not the man who is already accused.
This is the kind of misinformation we are having, Malak.
This is
And
This is nothing to do. This is
nothing to do.
only a minute.
Malak, I have only one small request.
What do you propose to do about the principle?
Whatever your lordship says, we'll do, Malak.
That is the constitution.
Malak, whatever your lordship says, we will do. There's no issue. SIT is constituted. SIT is constituted, but whatever your lordships will say, we will do. We are not, Malak, this is not adversarial, as I said. Malak, just give me just 1 minute. I just handed over something to your lordship. Just have a look at it, Malak. Just give it to my lord. 3 copies that I hand.
All right, Mr. Sibal, we'll just hear the solicitor for a minute. He just wants a minute.
All right. Lord, I just, my lord, I want this, my lord.
Your Lordship,
Lord,
may I
an
just submit?
in-charge DG who is already a tainted officer in an affidavit filed before this court should be replaced by any other in-charge DG of their choice.
Malak, just have this.
Another,
We have set out what is in the media, and we have set out the reality.
No, share it with
For
all of us.
We will share it, don't worry.
No.
Kolkata police informed the family members that the present case was a case of suicide. False.
No, another
False.
aspect.
At no time did the police give this information.
Presently, what we propose to do is, we'll indicate what the broad parameters of our intervention in this matter consists of. We'll just pronounce it very shortly. For one thing, Mr. Sibal, we are very, very concerned. Let not the power of the state of West Bengal be unleashed on peaceful protesters.
We have videos of all that happened.
People, whether they are doctors, civil society, lawyers, people who are protesting, so long as there's no act of destruction of.
We have videos. We agree.
Let there not be the power of the state unleashed.
Agree.
On peaceful protest.
Manoj, I agree, and that has not happened. 1 second. We have videos which we have placed, which we will place before your lordship. And Manoj, what happens is political parties get into the act, and this is what happens.
People who are taking to the media to communicate their views.
Yes.
Let us deal with them with a great deal of.
I agree.
It's a time of national catharsis.
Look at the girl, don't be in denial.
Now, for example, they say pelvic and collarbone was broken. False. Postmortem doesn't say that.
Lordship, state and the center, they'll keep arguing.
Fair.
CBI is investigating it.
Yes.
We will ask for a report from the CBI. Now, what we propose to is,
Just-
1 second.
Just 1 second.
This must stop. We are in charge of the proceeding. We have heard Mr. Solicitor. We have heard Mr. Sibal. If we start hearing all the interveners, there'll be no end to it.
Lordship,
Please have some patience. We are going to now tell you what we are proposing to do. We are not disposing of the case, but let's allow us to at least pronounce what we intend to do. All right.
No, this is the list of acts.
Would your lordship just
On, on 9 August 2000, a 31-year-old postgraduate doctor at R.G. Kar Medical College Hospital, Kolkata, who was in a 36-hour duty shift, was raped and murdered inside the seminar room of the hospital. As horrific details have emerged in the course of media reportage, the brutality of the sexual assault and the nature of the crime have shocked the conscience of the nation. The name and graph have been widely circulated on social media without regard to her privacy or dignity. Writ petitions were instituted before the Calcutta High Court seeking, among other things, a court-monitored investigation of the crime and the conduct of the hospital authority, college, and other officials by a special team of investigating officers. It has been alleged that the parents of the deceased were initially informed that their daughter had committed suicide. They were permitted to see the dead body after several hours, and a first information report in regard to the murder was registered belatedly by the police after several hours. By its order dated 13 August 2024, the High Court transferred the investigation to the Central Bureau of Investigation. Following the incident, agitations and protests were called by doctors' associations, student bodies, and civic groups across the country. On the eve of Independence Day, several areas in Kolkata saw protests spurred by the Reclaim the Knife campaign. At 12:30 a.m. on 15 August, when a protest was underway at the hospital, a large mob assembled at the premises of the R.G. Kar Medical College Hospital and vandalized the emergency ward and other departments of the hospital. Following the acts of wanton disruption and vandalism, the Indian Medical Association, a private and voluntary organization of doctors in India, called for a nationwide withdrawal of medical services except emergency services for 24 hours on 17 August 2024. In the aftermath of the brutal incident and the demonstrations which followed, the state government was expected to ensure the deployment of the state machinery to prevent a breach of law and order. It was all the more necessary to do so since investigation of the crime which took place in the precincts of the hospital was underway. We are unable to comprehend how the state was not prepared to deal with the incident of vandalization of the premises of the hospital. Nationwide protests following the brutal incident in RG Kar Medical College Hospital have brought the issue of the lack of institutional safety for doctors to the forefront. Medical associations have consistently raised issues of the lack of workplace safety in healthcare institutions. Medical professionals, in the performance of their duties, have been unfortunate targets of various forms of violence. Hospitals and medical care facilities are open throughout the day and night. Medical professionals, doctors, nurses, and paramedic staff work round the clock. Unrestricted access to every part of healthcare institutions has made healthcare professionals susceptible to violence. Patients of relatives in anguish are quick to attribute untoward results to the negligence of medical professionals. Such allegations are immediately followed by violence against medical professionals. In May 2024, two on-duty doctors were allegedly attacked in a hospital. In West Bengal. In another incident in May 2024 in Bihar, following the death of a 25-year-old pregnant patient, a nurse was allegedly pushed off the first floor of the building by the kin of the patient. In August 2024, a final year resident in a hospital in Hyderabad was allegedly assaulted by a patient attendants after the patient died due to medical conditions. These incidents of violence are a few among the many that have been unleashed against members of the medical community. They are portents of a systemic failure to protect doctors, nurses, and paramedical staff in the confines of hospitals. With few or no protective systems to ensure their safety, medical professionals have become vulnerable to violence. With the involvement of systemic issues for healthcare across the nation, this court has had to intervene. Women are at particular risk of sexual and non-sexual violence in these settings. Due to ingrained patriarchal attitudes and biases, relatives of patients are more likely to challenge women medical professionals. In addition to this, female medical professionals also face different forms of sexual violence at the workplace by colleagues, seniors, and persons in authority. Sexual violence has had its origins even within the institution, the case of Aruna Shanbag being a case in point. There is a hierarchy within medical colleges, and the career advancement and academic degrees of young professionals are capable of being affected by those in the upper echelons. The lack of institutional safety norms at medical establishments against both violence and sexual violence against medical professionals is a matter of serious concern. While gendered violence is the source of more malevolent manifestations of the structural deficiencies in public health institutions, the lack of safety is of concern to all medical professionals. Preserving safe conditions of work is central to realizing equality of opportunity to every working professional. This is not just a matter of protecting doctors. Their safety and well-being as health providers is a matter of national interest. As more and more women join the workforce in cutting-edge areas of knowledge and science, the nation has a vital stake in ensuring safe and dignified conditions of work. The constitutional value of equality demands nothing else and will not brook compromises on the health, well-being, and safety of those who provide health care to others. The nation cannot await another rape or murder for real changes on the ground. Several states, such as Maharashtra, Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu, have enacted legislation to protect healthcare service professionals from violence and damage to property. All these enactments prohibit any act of violence against medical professionals. The offense is non-bailable and, however, these enactments do not address the institutional and systemic causes that underlie the problem and enhance punishment without improving institutional safety standards falls short of addressing the problem effectively. We have attempted to clarity indicating the lack of institutional safety standards in healthcare institutions. A non-exhaustive formulation is set out below. A. Medical professionals who are posted for night duties are not provided adequate resting spaces. More often, doctors rest in the patient's room or in available public spaces. Duty rooms are scant. Separate duty rooms for male and female medical professionals are conspicuous by their absence in most healthcare establishments. B. Interns, residents, and senior residents are made to perform 36-hour shifts in conditions where even basic needs of sanitation, nutrition, hygiene, and rest are lacking. There is an absence of uniformity in terms of a standard national protocol. The fear of retribution prevents most healthcare professionals from questioning the absence of facilities for basic well-being. C. Lack of security personnel in medical care units is more of a norm than an exception. More often than not, medical professionals, which includes young resident doctors, interns, and nurses, are left to handle unruly attenders. Open access to healthcare facilities leaves medical professionals vulnerable to undesirable elements. D. Medical care facilities do not have sufficient toilet facilities. Most often, there is only one common toilet for medical professionals in one department. E. The hostels or places of stay for medical professionals are situated far from the hospital. Doctors and nurses who have to travel to and from the hospital are not provided transport facilities by the institution. Even within the precincts of the sprawling spaces of public hospitals, senior residents, doctors, nurses, and all medical professionals. 1. manage crowds and grieving persons. B. Infrastructural development. 1. Access to these rooms must be restricted through installation of security devices. Two, adopting appropriate technological intervention to regulate access to critical and sensitive areas, including through the use of biometric and facial recognition. Three, ensuring adequate lighting at all places in the hospital, and if it is a hospital attached to a medical college, all places within the campus. 4, installation of CCTV cameras at all entrance and exit points of the hospitals and the corridors leading up to all patient rooms. And 5, if the hostels or rooms of the medical professionals are away from the hospital, provision of transport between 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. for those who wish to travel to or from their place of stay to the hospital. C. Employment of social workers trained in grief and crisis counseling at all medical establishments. D. Conducting workshops for all employees of medical establishments, including doctors, nurses, and helpers, on handling grief and crisis. E. 3. Ensuring adequate lighting at all places in the hospital, composed of doctors, interns, if it's a hospital attached to a medical at every medical establishment, all places within the campus on 4. Institutional safety measures. Providers. In terms of the provisions of the Act, an internal complaints committee must be constituted in all hospitals and nursing homes. B. The duties of an employer listed under Section 19 of the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Act 2013, which includes organizing sensitization programs and providing a safe working space, must be discharged. And C. Ensuring for every medical institution a helpline number for medical professionals, which is open 24/7, and emergency distress facilities. It is clarified that the phrase medical professionals used in this judgment encompasses every medical professional, including doctors, medical students who are senior resident doctors, and nurses, including those who are nursing interns. The phrases medical establishments, hospital, medical institutions are interchangeably used. The NTF shall be at liberty to make recommendation on all aspects of the action plan highlighted above, and any other aspects which the members seek to cover. They are at liberty to make additional suggestions where appropriate. The NTF shall also suggest appropriate timelines by which the recommendations could be implemented based on the existing facilities and hospitals. The NTF is required to consult all stakeholders. Based on the situation, we have included the heads of the National Medical Commission and the National Board of Examinations as ex officio members of the NTF. Bearing in mind the national concerns which have been raised over the issue and the high priority which must be given to the creation of safe working conditions in healthcare institutions, we request the Cabinet Secretary to the Union Government to associate with the work of the NTF. The Home Secretary of the Union Government has also been made a member of the NTF in order to facilitate proper coordination with the state governments. The Secretary to the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare of the Government of India will be the Member Secretary of the NTF. The Ministry of Health and Family Welfare will provide all logistical support, including making arrangements for travel, stay, and secretarial assistance, and bear the expenses of the members of the NTF. The NTF is requested to submit an interim report within 3 weeks and the final report within 2 months from the date of this order. All state governments and union territory governments, through their secretaries in the Ministries of Health and Family Welfare, and the central government, through the Secretary Union Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, must collate information from all hospitals run by the state and by the central government, respectively, on the following aspects. A. How many security personnel are employed at each hospital and each department? B. Whether there is a baggage and person screening mechanism in place at the entrance of the medical establishment. C. The total number of resting/duty rooms in the hospital and specific details of the number in each department. D. The facilities provided in the resting/duty rooms. E. Information on whether all areas of the hospital are accessible to the general public, and if so, with or without any security restrictions. F. Whether there are CCTV cameras in the hospital. If there are, how many and in which locations? G. Whether the institution provides medical professionals training to appropriately handle the grief of patients. If so, the details of the training must be provided. 8. Whether social workers who specialize in handling grief of families of the patients are employed at the hospital. If so, then total number of social workers must be provided. I. Whether there are police outposts within the premises of the hospital or the medical college hospital campus. J. Whether an internal complaints committee in terms of the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Act 2013 has been constituted. And K. Whether the employer of the establishment has discharged the duties prescribed by Section 19 of the Act of 2013. If so, the details of it. The data submitted shall be tabulated and filed with an affidavit by the Union Government within 1 month from this order. The Central Bureau of Investigation shall submit a status report to this court by, we'll say 22nd and not 23rd, by 22nd August 2024 on the progress in the investigation of the crime at RG Kar Medical College Hospital. The state of West Bengal shall also file a status report by 22 August 2024 on the progress of the investigation on the acts of vandalism which took place at the hospital in the aftermath of the incident. The matter will now be listed on 22 August 2020.
Only one request. What is shared by the state of West Bengal with your lordships be given to CBI. We also need, have it. They cannot have any objection.
1 second, I can just say, when that is.
But what is shared by...
Milord, can I just add one thing, Milord?
Only what is shared...
Principal of the college, is he now under suspension? Is he on long leave? What's that?
He's on leave. He's on leave. High Court order is Millard's operative. He's on leave. He's on leave. There's an SIT constituted also. For all kinds of things.
Milord, can I?
Lords, I would...
Anywhere, right?
No.
But can I add one
That's
thing?
why I said, Millard, whatever your lordship says, we'll abide by it. That's not enough.
Whatever is shared,
My-
your lordships, Lord, the CBI must be
Yeah.
given.
No, we will file an affidavit.
But you have shared something with the
One
court, so you
second.
can't have any objection.
And not this point, Millard. In
Lord,
fact, what
no,
is
I am
happened-
on that point
What
first.
happens is, Millard, this goes to them, then the social media takes action. It'll
No, they have
exacerbate the
CBI.
situation. It is only to inform your lordships, Millard, that what's in the social media is not correct. And what's happening is just contrary to
Why
what the
can't we
record is.
share with
For
CBI?
example, they say it's a suicide. It is not a suicide. We never said.
Tainted.
We will, but Mr. Sibal, there was undoubtedly an unexplained delay.
I am not on merit.
Yes, Lord.
I am not on
What
that.
is to hide from...
What here?
Yes.
We have it. We have it.
I have.
We hand it over. Yes.
Milord, in the meantime,
Lord,
can I add
would,
one
Lord,
thing? Milord?
again request, Lord, if your lordships have seen something your lordships have, Lord, the CBI must be given. It will remain, Lord, confidential. But we must cross-check what is given to you.
Lord, your lordship.
The resistance shows that there is a lack of
No,
cooperation.
obviously there is a lack of faith.
Let me
Milord, your
do
lordship,
that on that day, Mr.
only 1 second, Milord.
Day after tomorrow.
Give
Lord,
the entire thing.
today, my Lord, they can give me today. My joint director is here. I'll give it to her.
Oh, yeah. Allow. Yeah. Just allow. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Now, my
What
lord.
is there to hide from
One
CBI,
second,
my
one
Lord?
second.
If they have given
Nothing is-
something related
Go on.
to crimes, it must be given, my Lord, to the
Kindly
CBI.
Kindly see page 40. Kindly
Don't read it aloud, we'll discuss.
page 40.
Right. वो करें। पेट को बोलो काम शुरू करें।
Yes, I know.
पेट को बोलो काम शुरू करें।
Explain this. I'll just say, read.